Chapter 5 is a fascinating chapter. I think it may be the most fascinating one. It is in regard to consumer behavior. Essentially what this is a look at the psychological reasons um, as to what motivates and spurs us to make purchases. And so it uses a psychological profile of individuals in order to get an idea of what and how they can be motivated, or what motivates them, and how they can be motivated to purchase or consider purchasing whatever it is that they're going to decide upon, whether it's a university education or a can of soup at the grocery store. So here's the 5 stages in the purchase decision. We go from problem recognition to post-purchase behavior. Well, problem recognition, and problem doesn't necessarily mean that you've got a flat tire. It could just mean I'd like a new coat. I'd like new shoes. It doesn't need to be a desperate need. It just needs to be something that you're willing to give up time and treasure to attain. And at each of these points, and these things may happen very quickly for some people because they purchase coats a lot of times and shoes. Other times, like automobiles or cars, or automobiles, homes, investments, things like that, may take a great deal more time, more highly involved purchasing behavior. So consumer behavior, consumer decision making, problem recognition. We want an iPhone because it does all these nifty things. So we consider it. We go search it. We search what we know. We search externally, various sources. The trick for a marketer is to figure out where people go to look for information. And there are, as you might guess, as you are aware, lots of choices in information, or it could be advertising, could be public relations, could be your friend, a salesperson, you name it. This is an evaluation, or could be an evaluation of a decision set. You're going to consider all these phones. Well, which one you're going to buy? It may not boil down to a very objective thing like this. It might be a very subjective one, in that you just think Apple is cool. You want to have that brand in your pocket, and that's why you do it. So there's varying levels of consumer behavior analysis. And I'm not going to go through all these, but it becomes pretty self-evident then, if you understand what goes on in these steps, that they may happen very quickly or they may happen very slowly, like I just said. Involvement is what I was getting at. The difference between buying a bag of peanuts or popcorn at a ball game versus buying an investment or deciding which college you want to go to. The level of involvement can vary greatly, tremendously. So, and in order to understand, the reason you want to understand that as a marketer is, if you know, or you want to make your product a more involved product, it's a form of differentiation. Higher involved products have many more variables. That's a way to differentiate your product. It's not just any peanut now. It's an organically grown with sea salt peanut. You've created a higher involvement product. There you go. That gives you from low to high. Some classic examples there. Situational influences. If it's your wife's birthday and you haven't gotten anything, you're on your way home, you better have something when you go. That situational influence might be one of desperation, and time is more in essence than might any of these other surroundings. What spurs you on. But marketers, if they can tweak this and understand this and use this, they certainly shall. There we go. External and internal sources. As you see, or you might guess or understand, these things can become very complex and very nuanced. And just understand, the higher level of consumer behavior research that you do, the more expensive it becomes. It's not always necessary to go to these high levels, but they do exist. And if it can mitigate your risk and maybe make it more likely that you'll succeed. The investment in this kind of research may be highly desirable. This weighted hierarchy of needs, the way that's been used, Maslow described behavior, personality traits, self-concept. I'll tell you this, people tend to buy what makes them feel good because it's an expression of who they are. The kind of phone you use, the kind of car you drive, and there might be economic realities mixed in that, but given the choice, it expresses who you are. And that's a very powerful element in purchase decisions. Ethics, we don't want to. Never lie. I guess that's you want an ethical lesson. I can sum up the entire ethical nature of marketing is never tell an untruth. Do not oversell something. Tell the truth. Don't make promises that can't be or won't be kept. This is why these things happen, because all these ways to reduce risk, because people don't trust advertising. This is why PR, public relations, can be so potent. There you go. That won't work. Learning. This is why learning is important, because it takes a while for people to remember a brand or remember a message. That's why it's repeated so often. Learning comes through repetition. I am not sad to say it just makes a difference. And this gets, again, very deep. Attitudes about brands, your values, your beliefs, VALS, they call this. What you value will determine, again, because it's part of your self-concept, what you're willing to purchase. I would encourage you to go to the website that's called VALS Research, VALS, and take the test and figure out where you're at on that spectrum. It's a link provided in your MyUSF, so it's right there for you. Changing attitudes is very, very difficult. If you had a negative attitude about Apple products, it's hard to undo that. But an attempt can and is often made. There's where this is the VALS research I was mentioning. Values, lifestyle, behavioral. This is a lifestyle thing. Values, attitudes, lifestyle. Psychographics, a little different type of tool. There it is. This is where you can go to see that. It's a cycle, and this is layout of the research. Do take that test. It's fun. Fun to know. If nothing else, you can see how you might be protect yourself from clever marketing to pull at your emotional strings. Okay, reference groups, purchase or opinion leaders. These are people that we look to and influence what we buy. It might be family, might be friends, might be professional athletes. Some we aspire to, others, that one right there, aspirational groups, we aspire to be part of it. Other dissociative ones are ones we want, it's the opposite. We don't want anything to do with it. We want to be anything like them. Family life cycle, without a doubt. You don't purchase the same things, at least you shouldn't. And if you think you got another thing coming, you're not going to have the same purchasing habits you had as a single man as when you become a married man, especially when you throw kids into the mix. That's going to, that cycle's going to change. There you go. That goes through stages. Social classes influence things. Upper class tend to be very inconspicuous purchasers of very exclusive and not widely known brands because they have nothing to prove. New rich people tend to buy the flashy jewelry and things like that to prove that you're there. Subcultures, they're just divisions of the greater culture. Might be cultural, might be ethnic, but they have different, because they influence each other in different ways. Okay, there's a good look at this chapter. Do read it carefully and do your best.